Have you ever wondered why stress seems to be an unwelcome guest in our lives, always lurking around the corner? Let's delve into this ubiquitous phenomenon, shall we? Stress, my friends, is not a modern invention. It's been with us since the dawn of mankind, a survival tool designed to protect us from danger. But in today's world, it seems to have taken on a life of its own. Across the globe, irrespective of age, profession, or circumstance, we're all grappling with stress. It's in the high schooler's fear of looming exams, the entrepreneur's worry about meeting deadlines, and the retiree's anxiety about health and finances. It's a universal language transcending borders and cultures. It's the silent soundtrack to our lives, an undercurrent in our daily existence. Yet it's not just about survival anymore. It's about thriving in a world that's constantly changing, constantly demanding. Stress, it seems, has become an inseparable part of our lives. But why is this so? To understand why we feel stressed, we need to delve into the science behind it. Stress is essentially a chemical reaction. When we face a challenging situation, our body kicks into fight or flight mode. This response is a survival mechanism, hardwired into our brains from our ancient ancestors who often faced life or death situations. In this state, our bodies release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline increases heart rate, blood pressure, and energy supplies. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, curbs functions that would be non-essential in a fight or flight situation. It alters immune system responses and suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and growth processes. This complex natural alarm system also communicates with regions of your brain that control mood, motivation, and fear. But here's the catch. Unlike our ancestors who needed this response to escape predators or other immediate threats, today's stressors are more often emotional rather than physical threats. We're not typically running from wild animals, but we are dealing with demanding jobs, financial worries, and complex social dynamics. Our bodies can't distinguish between these different stressors, so they react with the same chemical cocktail. Unfortunately, this means that our bodies are frequently in this heightened state of stress, leading to an overexposure to cortisol and other stress hormones. This overexposure can disrupt almost all your body's processes, increasing your risk of numerous health problems, including anxiety, depression, heart disease, weight gain, and memory and concentration impairment. And that's the crux of the issue. This stress response, while essential for our survival in the wild, is not so beneficial in our modern world where stressors are not life or death situations but rather ongoing emotional challenges. The constant release of these stress hormones puts a lot of wear and tear on our bodies, leading to what is known as chronic stress. So, while stress was once a survival mechanism, it now appears to be causing more harm than good. While our ancestors stressed about predators and food scarcity, our modern stressors have taken a different shape. In our fast-paced society, it's no surprise that work has emerged as a major stressor. We're constantly juggling deadlines, managing work relationships, and striving to prove our worth. The pressure to perform and succeed can be overwhelming, leading to long hours, sleepless nights, and a lot of stress. Then there's the stress of financial instability. Whether it's the struggle to pay off student loans, save for a house, or just make ends meet, money worries can be a constant source of anxiety. And in an era where the cost of living keeps rising, financial stress is becoming an all too common part of modern life. Of course, we can't forget about the stress that comes from our personal relationships. Whether it's a disagreement with a spouse, difficulties with family members, or trouble in friendships, these interpersonal conflicts can take a toll on our mental health. But what has really amplified our stress levels in the modern age is technology. Our smartphones, tablets, and laptops are always within reach, keeping us constantly connected and perpetually distracted. The incessant notifications, emails, and messages create a relentless sense of urgency that's hard to escape. Social media, too, has become a significant stressor. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it keeps us connected with friends and family. On the other, it exposes us to a continuous stream of other people's highlights, leading us to compare our lives with theirs. This comparison game can breed feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction, adding to our stress load. And let's not forget the stress brought on by the barrage of news and information we're exposed to daily. With information at our fingertips, it's hard to escape the constant updates about global crises, political upheavals, and other distressing events. In a world that's always on and always connected, it's no wonder we're always stressed. As our stressors have evolved, so too must our strategies for managing them. But that's a topic for another day. For now, let's just acknowledge the modern stress triggers and the impact they're having on our lives. In a world that's always on, it's no wonder we're always stressed. But what happens when stress becomes a constant companion? It's time to delve into the impacts of chronic stress, the kind that sticks around, making itself at home in our daily lives. Chronic stress isn't just an uncomfortable state of mind, it's a serious health concern that can have far-reaching consequences on our physical health, mental well-being, and overall quality of life. Let's start with the physical. Chronic stress can lead to a host of health problems. It's like a domino effect, starting with the release of stress hormones, which can cause high blood pressure and heart disease. It can also lead to issues with digestion, as stress can disrupt the balance in your gut, causing problems like ulcers or irritable bowel syndrome. Your immune system isn't safe either. Chronic stress can weaken it, leaving you more susceptible to infections and illnesses. But the effects aren't just physical. Chronic stress can take a toll on your mental health as well. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and problems with memory and concentration. It can make you feel constantly on edge, irritable, and unable to enjoy life. It can affect your sleep, leaving you feeling tired and drained, and it can even affect your relationships, straining connections with friends and loved ones. Moreover, chronic stress can significantly impact your quality of life. It can make it hard to enjoy the things you love, to relax, to feel happy. It can make you feel like you're constantly running on a treadmill, trying to keep up, but never quite able to catch your breath. So chronic stress isn't just about feeling stressed out. It's a complex issue that can affect every aspect of your life, from your health to your happiness. It can lead to serious diseases and conditions, and it can make life feel like a constant struggle. And yet, it's something that many of us deal with on a daily basis. It's important to remember that stress isn't just a state of mind, it's a physical response, and one that can have serious consequences if not addressed. Chronic stress, then, can wreak havoc on our bodies and minds. And so we've explored the prevalence of stress, the science behind it, modern stressors, and their impact. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. Stress, as we've discovered, is an undeniable part of our lives. It's a biological response ingrained in our very DNA, a survival mechanism that's been with us since the dawn of humanity. But as we've seen, it's not all about facing off against saber-toothed tigers anymore. The modern world has its own unique set of stress triggers, from the relentless pace of work to the constant bombardment of information and the pressure to keep up with it all. We dove deep into the science behind stress, peeling back the layers to reveal the complex interplay of hormones and neurotransmitters that orchestrate this intricate dance. We spoke about cortisol, the stress hormone, and its role in priming our bodies for action. But we also highlighted the flip side, how a relentless surge of cortisol can wreak havoc on our bodies, leading to a plethora of health issues from heart disease to mental health problems. We then ventured into the landscape of modern stress triggers. The world we live in today, with its constant connectivity and incessant demands, can seem like an endless treadmill of stressors. We talked about how our jobs, our relationships, and even our constant exposure to news and social media can become sources of stress. These modern-day saber-toothed tigers may not threaten our lives in the same way, but they can certainly threaten our peace of mind. And finally, we examined the impact of chronic stress. We saw how prolonged exposure to stress can lead to a host of physical and mental health problems, from insomnia and weight gain to anxiety and depression. But we also discussed how stress can impact our relationships and our ability to enjoy life. We saw how stress can rob us of our ability to relax, to enjoy the moment, to connect with others in a meaningful way. But it's not all doom and gloom. Yes, stress is a part of life, but it doesn't have to control it. We've also discussed several ways to manage stress and take care of ourselves in this fast-paced world. From mindfulness and meditation to regular exercise and a healthy diet, there are many ways we can take control of our stress levels and improve our overall well-being. We've covered a lot of ground, but the key takeaway here is this. Stress may be a part of life, but it doesn't have to define it. It's within our power to manage our stress levels and to make self-care a priority. While stress may be a common part of life, it doesn't have to control it. Remember, your well-being is worth prioritizing.